Let's take up the chapter Emerging Modes of Business. As the title suggests, modes of business. It means the manner in which the business is conducted, and the prefix emerging underlines the fact that these changes are happening every here and now, and these trends are likely to continue. Now, let us take an example to make it clear about the modes of business. One midnight, Daksh woke up his friend who was rubbing his eyes and said, "Let us do some shopping." At this time, 12 midnight, who would be sitting with his shop open for you? To which Daksh replied, "We need not go anywhere. I am talking about online shopping over the internet." This is how business has changed its dimensions. Now, the world of business is slowly changing. E-business and outsourcing are the two obvious expressions of this change. In the chapter, we'll be discussing about e-business and outsourcing. Firstly, e-business. What is e-business? E stands for electronic. Electronic business is the business that is conducted using the computer network, that is the internet. The scope of e-business is quite vast. Almost all the type of business functions, be it production, finance, marketing, personnel administration, as well as all the managerial activities of planning, organizing, controlling, can be carried out over computer network. Viewed from this perspective, a firm's electronic transaction can be visualized into various directions. It can be B2B business, B2C business, C2C business, or intra-B business. Now we'll be briefly discussing all these constituents of e-business. Moving towards the first one, B2B commerce. As the name suggests, B2B, that is business to business. Here both the parties involved are business firms. Any business for creation of utilities, products, or delivering any value requires it to interact with other business firms, which can be suppliers or vendors of the input. For example, let us take manufacturing of an automobile. It requires assembly of various components, which in turn are being manufactured elsewhere, within the vicinity of the automobile factory or even overseas. To reduce the dependence on a single supplier, the automobile factory has to cultivate more than one vendor for each of the components. So here, one business firm is interacting with other business firm, that is B2B commerce. Moving towards the second constituent, that is B2C commerce. Business to customer. That is, the transactions have business firms at one end and customers at the other end. For example, ATM. ATM speeds up the withdrawal of money. Today, customers are becoming very choosy. They are desirous of getting individual attention. Moving towards the next component, that is C2C commerce. C2C commerce is the constituent where the business originates from the consumer and the ultimate destination is also the consumer. Thus the name C2C, consumer to consumer. For example, let's take up an example. Raman wants to buy a new sofa set for his house, but he did not have enough space to keep it. He planned to sell his old sofa through OLX so that he could get some surplus money and even the space for the new sofa set. He got a very good response, and out of many buyers, he chose the buyer who gave him the best price. This is an example of C2C commerce, consumer to consumer interaction. And moving towards the last constituent, that is intra-B commerce. Intra-B. Here the parties involved in the electronic transactions are from within the given business firm only. Hence the name intra-B. You must have seen Today, intercom. Intercom has facilitated the voice communication within the office. The intranet facilities, multimedia, 3D graphics. These are some of the important units that are being used by intra-B firms. Now let's take up the benefits of e-business. But before moving to the benefits, let's discuss the difference between traditional and e-business. It was difficult to form a traditional business. It required a physical presence, the setting up cost was high, and same was the operating cost. E-business is simple to be formed. No physical presence is required. The cost of setting up is low, and so is the operating cost. Today, the scope of e-business is increasing. Taking the benefits, let's move to the first one, ease of formation. Unlike a host of procedural requirements for setting up the traditional business, e-business is relatively easy to start. Business firms can get quick order supplies from the vendors. They need not maintain any stock. They don't have to block up their capital. Secondly, convenience. Internet offers the convenience of 24 hours in a day, 7 days a week, and 365 days a year. That is a business that allows a customer to go for shopping even after midnight or early morning. Moving towards the next, speed. Much of the buying or selling involves exchange of information that internet allows at the click of mouse. This benefit becomes all the more attractive in case of information-intensive products like softwares, movies, e-books. Global reach. Internet is truly without any boundaries. E-business enables the firm to reach out to all the customers all across the globe. Next, movement towards a paperless society. Use of internet has reduced the dependence on paperwork. Having studied about the benefits of e-business, as a result of which it is gaining popularity, let's also not forget about the limitations of e-business. It is associated with certain limitations. Firstly, lack of personal touch. The most important problem with e-business is the lack of warmth, of interpersonal interaction between the seller and buyer. That is why e-business is not suitable where the customer requires personalized service, as in case of, say, customized dresses or interior decoration, etc. Fulfillment problems. Every now and then you might have studied about the problems of stories of shipping delays, merchandise mix-ups, websites crashing under pressure. These are some of the common problems. Next, security. Security continues to be a big problem for online business. Many people are reluctant to give their credit card numbers via the internet. For millions of potential cyber customers, the fear of credit card theft is a real one. Now let's take up the procedure followed in the online transaction. Online transactions require a 4-step procedure. The first one, registration at the seller's website, which involves the intending buyer finding an appropriate seller, just as any consumer goes to a conventional shop. For an online buyer, finding the seller's website is as follows. He will select a menu item on the screen that appears where he logs onto the internet. He uses a search engine to find an appropriate seller's website. He may get the desired seller's website from another website that is advertising it. Or he may select the desired seller's website from an advertisement recommended by a friend. After selecting the vendor, the buyer has to fill a registration form online to open an account where he will be giving his personal details and fill in a password for ensuring the security of the account. Moving towards the next one, once he is done with the registration process, he needs to place the order. While browsing the online store, the customer can pick up and drop the items in the shopping cart. The shopping cart is an online record of what the customer wants to buy. This amounts to placing the order with the seller. Once he has placed the order and his cart is ready, he makes the payment. If the seller selects the goods for purchase, he will be required to pay for the same. Generally, payment for online purchase is made through a debit card or a credit card. Today, cash on delivery, net banking transfers, or e-money can be used as a medium to make the payments of e-business. And moving towards the last point, that is the delivery of the product. In e-commerce transactions, electronic products like software, information, or music can be delivered online by the way of downloading. However, for goods not deliverable online, the seller needs to maintain a distribution network. The modes of delivery in such a case may be a post or a delivery through a courier service. For perishable goods like foodstuffs, the best option is home delivery from a local vendor. E-commerce has been facing certain problems which endanger its security and safety. The important problems associated with e-business are: firstly, the transactional risk. The common transactional risk of online dealings are default on order. A seller may deny that the customer even placed the order ever. Default on delivery. Sometimes the good may be delivered at the wrong address or goods other than ordered by the buyer. Default on payment. Sometimes the seller does not give the payment for the goods supplied, whereas the customer claims that the payment has been made. Moving towards the next problem, data storage and transmission risk. Vital information stored in the system can be stolen or changed to pursue some selfish motive. The risk involved in data storage is virus. Vital information under siege. Some of the computer viruses are deadly. They can clean up all the information stored in the computer memory. The viruses can enter the computer through email or pen drive. Hacking. Hacking refers to the unauthorized entry into a website. Hackers often destroy the data and information, which causes a huge loss to the owner of the website because of the interruption. Let's take the topic outsourcing, yet another trend that is radically reshaping the business. Outsourcing refers to a long-term contracting out, generally the non-core and off-late activities, even some of the core activities, to a third-party specialist in order to get the benefit from their experience, expertise, efficiency. Outsourcing generally involves contracting out. It means to source from outside rather than doing it in-house. Today you might have seen most of the companies have appointed their own sanitation staff for maintaining neatness, cleanliness, and overall housekeeping of their premises. Sanitation and housekeeping functions were earlier performed in-house, but today they are being outsourced. Generally, non-core business activities are outsourced. Sanitation and housekeeping functions are non-core activities for most of the organization, except for hotel industry or for municipalities and sanitation service providers. Now let's take up the advantages or the need of outsourcing. Why outsourcing? Focusing of attention. Business firms are realizing the usefulness of focusing their complete attention over the core activities where their need is required in order to create the utilities timely, whereas the non-core activities are outsourced. Quest for excellence. Outsourcing enables the firm to pursue excellence in two ways. One, they excel themselves in the activities that they can do the best by virtue of limited focus, and they excel by extending their capabilities through contracting out the remaining activities to other party who has excelled in performing them. Cost reduction. Global competitiveness necessitates not only global quality but also global competitive pricing. As the price turns low due to competitive pressures, the only way to survival is cost reduction. Division of labor and specialization, besides improving the quality, reduces the cost.